Thank you for watching Griffin Designs 1975 Caprice Classic Trunk Update. All right, y'all, I want to show you something. So this is actually my trunk lid, which is the picture that I showed before this video. It's the topper piece. My brother's been bragging on me about updating this because I did this when I didn't have a CNC machine. So long story short, we're about to make some updates to it, but I'm gonna try to keep the wood without actually having to redo a lot. See the white lines? That's actually where the trunk panel is. So that I'm actually gonna stick in that same shape, a piece of wood built with a light and a plexi that's gonna overshadow this. And then the plexi is gonna have like a grill cut in it, or cut out of it. And then I might have like some words like Griffin Designs come across it, and when it lights up in red, it'll do that. And then I'm gonna still leave the red plexi back there. You'll see what I'm doing. Then over here, on both sides where the hinge is, I've been having imperfection. You see this mark cut through the material from the trunk lid hitting it, which over time kind of makes sense. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna stick this piece of wood on the machine. I marked it out where I want to 45 it, just like it is back here. And then I'm actually going to, instead of it having like a little bitty gap, I'm actually gonna fiberglass against the trunk side piece to make it a little bit more flusher. So I'm actually, or flush. So I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna put this on the trunk so I can show you what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna put it on the machine. The machine's gonna take this 1/2 inch piece of wood and take it down to a 1/4 so that nothing hits it, if that makes sense. And then I'm gonna do my fiberglass piece over there. And then I'm gonna recover just this side because this material color actually is discontinued. And the grain of it, I guess, let me put it like that. So I'm gonna end up getting a smoother grain or maybe a rougher grain. Then I'm gonna put like a seam right here and then attach that second piece here. And then over there, so that I can keep this, plus less work. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna go stick it on top of the trunk, and then we're gonna get cutting and go from there. All right, y'all, I'm back with my trunk. And I know it looked good the way it is, but bro said I gotta update it, do something. So what I was getting at is, yeah, the trunk, somewhere up here, was tagging this. And then I did get a little bit of tag there from this. So I'm gonna have my machine take this part past the red line and bring it down from 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch. That'll give enough gap here because I went and measured it. My trick is I use Play-Doh. Put Play-Doh here, shut the trunk. That'll tell me how much room I got here. Clearly ain't got none. But then up here, you got about 1/2 inch. So technically, just not this part. This part probably got like a 1/4 or less. That's why it's hitting. So once I take that 1/4 out, it won't hit. Then I'm gonna take that edge. I mean, it look good, don't get me wrong. Something back there if you come down and look, but most people looking like this car squat so low. I'm actually fiberglass from here against this. And I did 2 lines, as you notice, a red one and then the second one. And this one is the straight up and down. And this is as far as I can go out before this part of the trunk hits. So I'm gonna go ahead and, sorry for my heavy breathing here, but fiberglass that. I'm gonna stop it here at the hinge. Then on this side, I'm gonna do it on both sides clearly, right? Then on this side, you can see I marked the lines. And that wipes off, just some chalk. And I'm gonna make something go from here and go all the way across to fill up this little space. And it's gonna have a light red and then some plexi that come out and cover up this section here. And I'm gonna have it cut out for holes to see the amps. I don't know if I'm gonna paint it red or keep it clear. We'll see when the time comes what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna etch in it. So I think that's about it on this part of it. So now we're about to get it on the machine and do our thing, put it back in here, start the fiberglass process. Well, I'm gonna probably use chipboard first to mock it out, but I'll show y'all what I would do to get there, if that makes any sense. So, all right, y'all, we back. I got the wood loaded on the machine. I'm gonna use what they call a flattening bit. And I'm gonna actually flatten this thing out about that 1/4 inch down, like I told y'all, to take that thickness from 1/2 inch down to a 1/4. So y'all can check out this sped up video. right, y'all, I got the lid back in there. But what I want to show you what I did is I used chipboard and I created a border. That and some 5K glue to give me like a template so I can take that gap out that was created when we took this board down to 1/4 of an inch from 1/2 inch, so the hinge doesn't cause any damage to it like it did before in that front part. So there we go there. Then next up, we're gonna glass it, and then we're gonna 1 inch gap there, and we're gonna put something there to light up here, or make it to where some plexi comes out and does something. So we're gonna keep it rolling. I'm about to pull this out, glass it, and go from there. All right, y'all, I ran out of glass, so I decided to just body fill it. Just to give me my shape, pull it out, sand it down, then I'll glass it. I just need to get the shape of what I'm needing here. Bam. Y'all gonna see me shape it, watch. All right, folks, we back. I didn't show y'all this, but I went ahead and marked it out on the CNC machine. I'm gonna put this piece on here. I'm gonna build it so that it actually can, this piece right here is gonna be plexi. And I built it so that I can put a red light in there and it'll light that up. I think I'm gonna go with a red piece of plexi and etch into it so you can see the Griffin designs and the logo. And if I truly wanna use the light, I will. I'm gonna put it in there, but I don't know if I'm gonna wire it up. So then we also gotta think about what we're gonna do down here. We're gonna take that out and update it somehow. So I'll keep y'all posted on it, but it's gonna be cool. So wrapped in a gray, mounted down, and then it's got the red piece of plexi, and then Griffin designs etched into it. It's gonna hover actually, because it's gonna sit off about 1/2 inch off. So the plexi is gonna kind of like hover over the amps. So it's gonna come out pretty good. All right, y'all, got a little bit step further. Went ahead and mudded that. I did some stuff here just because when I put it on the machine, the board was kind of warped, so I got to even it back out. So I'm gonna sand that flat, so it'll be flat when I go to wrap it. And then this will be V-bitted right here, and I put a little bit of mud on to help me make it a little bit more angled. I got the curve there done, curve over here done. Just gotta do some light sanding. Then I got that piece that I showed y'all with the template paper. And I used a chalk marker to know where I want to put it. So then when I went and made the piece, and it sits here, as you can see, there was holes right here. I put a little mud on it because I'm gonna sand the holes down because I put an insert in there, thread insert. But then I marked it on this side and drilled a hole so that the screw can go up under here, and then it hooks on to my thread insert, which I gotta unscrew it, but see that metal insert in there? So then I can take this off, put it back on anytime I want. You can see here where I cut into it, see a little gap? So the plexi is sitting there flush, and then the channel to put the LED light goes here, then it'll have a hole technically right here, or I can actually run it under here, I bet you, because you ain't gonna be able to see it if I ran it and pushed it up under there. So as you can see, the piece is long. I think it's about almost 50 inches. And then I wood glued it and put a dowel in it. And then I'm gonna sand the dowel so it'll be flat, if you can see. But since it's being a little piece, it ain't gonna do nothing by just sitting it on there. The one thing I can tell you is that you don't need a 4x8, like 4 foot by 8 foot CNC machine. I bought this machine, what, 2 years ago? Now, first off, you probably gotta understand how to use a plunge router and a router in general. That's how I started. And then I bought the machine. Now, can I go buy a $30,000 machine? I thought about it, and then I'll just stick it right here in the garage. But then I lose that garage space, when really I can do everything on this machine. The only thing that it stops me from doing is making like whole doors or this big old piece. I would just cut it in the middle, the machine. Cut it here, then merge it together like that. And then when you go to wrap it, you can't tell. So, I mean, it takes a little longer doing it that way, but over time, you save money up front. Over time, it makes more sense to get a bigger machine, but I do fine just with that. Once I get a shop, then we'll get a bigger machine. I do got the plexi cut, as you can see. So I'll show you what this will kind of look like. I think I'm gonna take these red ones up under there, out of there. Line this back up. If I can find it. Oh, okay. Well, the screw's in there. But hypothetically, it'll sit up under here. Sorry, y'all, I'm working with one hand here. So slide this up under there. Something like that. So it'll be something like this. Now that, of course, it'll be flat, but y'all get the point. So now I'm gonna sand this down, sand the little pieces down, attach that, light it up if I wanted to, and then wrap it all up. All right, folks. All we gotta do is wrap it now. I went ahead and covered the arty stuff that was wrapped with paper and tape so I don't get it all dusty or mess it up. But I got it all sanded, V-bitted this area a little bit more with contrast by putting some filler on it. Got that all lined up so I can wrap it. Same over here. No gaps. And then we got the middle molding that goes there. I did have to pull out my handy dandy router. Where's it? Pulled it out earlier. I normally use a CNC, but pulled that out just so I can do some V-bitting and stuff. But I got the molding down here. You can see I V-bitted it, 45'd it. And I 45 the piece where the plexi go. You see that little, I know it's kind of hard to focus. And then it fades and goes a real sharp edge so to go against that plexi. Then again, the plexi I sit up under there. And I got a channel for a light and a wire if I want it. So just gotta wrap it all now. Yep. So let me tell you what I'm thinking about doing. I'm actually gonna wrap it. So the material I got, they don't make no more. I think I might have mentioned that, the color, but I got scraps. So I'm about to actually get on the sewing machine and I'm gonna put an extra a stitch right in the dead center of here for 2 scrap pieces so I can wrap it. So then it has a stitch there. Then, because I'm keeping it wrapped, the main section, and I cut the material here and pulled it off. When I go to wrap this section, here, where this tape is, back, is gonna be a folded edge with a stitch on it. And it's the same, taking some scraps that I have that'll cover that piece and that piece over there, and then I'll put the stitch there. And then when I go to glue it down, the stitch will get unglued on top of the existing material that was cut here. I'm gonna make it overlap about 1/2 inch, and then it'll be glued down. And it almost appear as if I stitched 3 pieces. But technically, it's 1 piece wrapped, and then these 2 wrapped with a stitch border so that it can look clean. And then it has a stitch on the mold there. All right, y'all, I got the mold and wrap. I got the plexi in there. Take them 2 pieces of scraps, put it dead center with a French thing. So y'all can see. Now I gotta bolt it. And we'll stick it in the car. Something like that. I didn't wire the light up. I'll do that later. Thank you for watching Griffin Designs. Please like, share, and comment.